We're going to take a look today at our trip, or the first part of our trip of Spain-Portugal. We're not going to particularly look at the UK. We're going to start our journey in Calais. From Calais, we'll be avoiding the tolls and the motorways and heading down towards Le Mans. At Le Mans, we'll make our first stop overnight and be taking a look at the Le Mans race circuit and the museum. Hopefully see some really great cars and hopefully the racetrack as well. We shall leave Le Mans the next morning and start to travel south, working our way through France, all the way down, quite a long journey, all the way down to a village called Ordeux-sur-Glane. Ordeux-sur-Glane is the martyr village. It's a village that hasn't changed since the Second World War. We'll look at the reasons why when we make another video about it. We'll also be staying there for the night, so this will be our second evening. We shall start to travel south again, working our way through France, working our way down to just above the border with Spain, and we're heading for Lourdes. We've got a couple of nights in Lourdes planned. While there, we should be taking a look at a few different things. Abri Saint-Michel looks fantastic building for us to look round. Also the Basilica of St. Pius. Looks a very modern building, that one. The crypt of the Basilica of the Immaculate Conception. I think what we've really come to Lourdes for is to have a look at the miraculous water of Lourdes. So while we're there, we shall be probably having a drink of the water. And then heading for Lourdes baths, where there's not too many people around. Then we may even try the baths as well. Once suitably, shall we say, refreshed, and all my ailments are cured from the waters, so my feet will be no longer a problem for me, we'll be travelling now down into Spain. So cross the border from France into Spain, and then we're heading for our next night's stay and a look at Castillo de Loire, or the Castle of Loire. Then we're going to start to head north into Spain. We're working our way up to the coast across the top part of it, and we'll be heading for an overnight stop where there'll be a little bit of a walk to go and have a look at the Gazlexi, I think they call it, something like that. No doubt somebody will correct me. It's a little island that we can walk across to. So we'll take a look at that. Looks quite a spectacular views and things. From there we'll be heading then towards Bilbao, but we'll make a quick stop on the way to have a look at a castle called the Castillo de Boutron, or Castle of Boutron. There'll only be a short stop. Not sure if we can actually get into that to have a look around, but we'll have a little bit of a look round the outside. Then from there we'll be working our way for a couple of nights stay, which will be in Bilbao. While in Bilbao, we'll take a look at least this bridge. So the Vizcaya Bridge. The Vizcaya Bridge looks very much like the bridge in Middlesbrough, so very similar. Hopefully get to have a walk across it and travel back on the car. Bilbao is famous really for modern art, so we'd have to make a stop at the Guggenheim Museum in Bilbao. It's quite an architectural building. And just outside of the Guggenheim is a piece of art. They call it the puppy. It looks like it's made out of flowers. There are other things that we'll be going to have a look at while we're there. The Bilbao, which is like a basilica. And then we'll be going to what is an effective viewpoint, which will give us a really good view across the city of Bilbao. So hopefully we get some spectacular views from there. After a couple of nights in Bilbao, we then start to make our way around the coast. So we're running across the northern part of Spain, across the coast, and we're going to take a look at on an overnight stop with the statue of the King of Palaio. Also there we should be taking a look at the Basilica Santa Maria, and there's what's called a chapel cave there as well. We leave there and we start heading back onto the coast again, following that across, right the way across to the northwesterly part to a town called Santiago de Compostela, and we're going to have a look at the church there, or the basilica there, or cathedral. It's quite a spectacular building. So after our overnight stop, we leave there, and we're now working our way down the western coast, heading towards the border with Portugal, with a very quick stop to see a statue called the Virxa de Rocha, which I think is a statue of the Virgin Mary. Then right the way down to just above the border with Portugal for an overnight stay and a look at some ruins that are there, which they're Castro-Roman settlement from about 100 BC to 100 AD. Also I'm hoping for some really good views as well. Upon leaving there, we're going to follow the border, just staying on the Spanish side, right the way across what would be the top of Portugal, and then we're going to head south a little bit to near Valladolid for a quick stop at a church or a basilica called Iglesias Miserable Santa Maria. We're told that in here there is also an ossuary, which is a pile of bones and skulls and such like. But it still looks quite a pretty church for us to have a look around. We'll leave there and start heading south through the centre of Spain. Working our way down to a town called Coca. We've got a couple of nights in Coca. Where we'll be taking a look at the Castillo de Coca, which is the castle of Coca. Along with the Puerto de Villa. And the Tower of St. Nicholas. Hopefully get some spectacular views across the countryside as well. Once leaving Coca, heading south again through the centre of Spain till we reach a place called Segovia. So we've got an overnight stop in Segovia. We'll be looking at what looks like pretty much a Disney type castle. I think it's pretty much the castle from a slightly different angle, that, and the views across the town or across the valley. But one of the other main reasons for us calling here is to take a look at this, which is the aqueduct. So which looks quite a spectacular thing. So hopefully we'll get to see that and some great views across the countryside. Leaving there, working our way south, and we're heading for Madrid. So Madrid is our final overnight stop. We planned 3 nights. If we can see what we want to see in 2 nights, then that's what we'll do. While we're there, there's a couple of 3 things that we'll be taking a look at. One of them is the Gate of Europe, with quite a modern structure. Also the Toledo Gate. And the Cathedral de la Almunda. And the Temple de Debod, or Debod. There are other things that we'll be taking a look at while we're in Madrid, but these are just the highlights really, and probably other things that we're going to see throughout Spain as well. But that concludes the first part of our venture. The second part will take us across from Madrid into Portugal, then we'll be running south down the coast and then back into Huelva in Spain. We'll cover the second part. That pretty much concludes our first part.